There's a moment in almost every relationship that looks small from the outside, but quietly decides how close you'll stay. It's not the big fight, not the breakup talk. It's that one sentence. Can we talk? If you understand what actually happens in that moment, you understand why some couples grow closer over time and others slowly turn into strangers who share a kitchen. You say, "Can we talk?" You mean, "I want to feel closer." They hear, "Something's wrong." And in that moment, the conversation is already breaking down. Same words, same moment, but somehow, you walk away feeling unheard, and they walk away feeling attacked. That's not bad communication. That's two people listening on completely different frequencies. And the problem is, neither of you realizes it's happening. You think you're expressing a need. They feel like they're being evaluated. They think they're staying calm. You feel like they're shutting down. And both of you leave that conversation with the same quiet conclusion. They don't get me. And this is where most relationships don't explode. They slowly disconnect. You're sitting next to each other. It starts small. You say, "I just feel like we haven't been that close lately." In your mind, that means, "I miss you." In theirs, it lands as, "I'm not enough." So they pull back, get quieter, defensive, without saying anything. Now you feel it. And your tone shifts. "Why are you getting distant?" Now they hear, "I'm doing something wrong again." So they shut down more. And just like that, you're no longer having the same conversation. You're reacting to what you think the other person meant, not what they actually said. And this is where most relationships start breaking, without either person realizing why. Because the real problem is not what you're saying. It's what your nervous system is hearing. Every relationship develops its own frequency, not based on logic, based on past experiences. If you've ever felt criticized before, you don't hear feedback, you hear judgment. If you've ever felt ignored, you don't hear space, you hear distance. So now, two people are talking, but each is translating through their own history. You say, "I need more time together." They hear, "I'm failing you." They say, "I just need a bit of space." You hear, they're pulling away. Same conversation, different realities. And the more it happens, the more dangerous it becomes. Because eventually, you stop reacting to your partner and start reacting to the version of them your mind has created. Imagine the same evening from both sides. One of you lies in bed thinking, "I'm always the one who brings up hard conversations. Why won't they meet me halfway?" In the next room, the other is staring at the ceiling thinking, "No matter what I do, it's never enough. Every talk turns into me failing again." Both feel alone, both feel misunderstood, and both are convinced the other one doesn't see how hard they're trying. Not because you don't care, because you're trapped inside two different stories about the same relationship. Now here's where it escalates, because at some point, you both try harder, you explain more, you repeat yourself, you clarify, you think, "If I just say it the right way, they'll finally understand." But they're not misunderstanding your words, they're interpreting your tone, your timing, your energy, your facial expression, everything around the words. So the more you try to fix it, the more pressure enters the conversation. You think you're getting clearer, they feel like it's getting heavier. They think they're staying calm. You feel like they don't care. And this is where most people lose the connection while trying to fix it. At some point, one of you says less, the other says more. One withdraws, the other pursues. And now you're not just on different frequencies. You're moving in opposite directions. One person is trying to get closer, the other is trying to feel safe. And both think they're the one protecting the relationship. And here's the part most couples never get told. This isn't about who's too emotional or who's too cold. The one who moves closer isn't needy. The one who pulls back isn't heartless. Both are just protecting themselves with the only strategy their nervous system knows. If you treat it like a personality flaw, you'll attack each other. If you treat it like a pattern, you can change it together. So what is the conversation that either saves this or slowly destroys it? It's not, "What do you want from me?" It's not, "Why are you like this?" It's not even, "How do we fix this?" It's simpler and harder. It's this, "What did you hear when I said that?" Because that's the moment everything changes. You say something, instead of defending, they pause and ask, Wait, what did you actually mean by that? Not to challenge you, to understand you. And suddenly, you're no longer guessing each other. You're checking. You say, I just feel like we haven't been close. And instead of hearing failure, they hear you say, I miss you. And everything softens. Now flip it. They say, I just need some space. And instead of hearing rejection, you ask, what does space look like for you? And they say, I just need an hour to reset, not distance from you. And suddenly, what felt like disconnection becomes regulation. And this is the shift most people never make. They try to fix the message instead of understanding the interpretation. Because here's the truth. Most relationship problems aren't created in what is said. They're created in what is assumed. You assume tone. They assume intention. You assume meaning. And those assumptions become reactions. And those reactions become patterns. And those patterns become distance. So the conversation that saves your relationship isn't the one where everything is perfectly said. It's the one where nothing is assumed. Where you slow down just enough to ask, what did you hear? Is that what I meant? Is that what you meant? Not perfectly, not every time, but enough to stop building a relationship on misinterpretation. Because when you do that, something changes. You stop defending yourself. They stop protecting themselves. And both of you start understanding each other in real time. Not days later, not after damage is done, but inside the moment itself. And that's where connection actually lives, not in perfect communication, but in corrected misunderstanding. Because the truth is, you're not on the same frequency by default. No one is. Two people don't meet and magically understand each other. They learn each other over time, through moments exactly like this. So the next time you feel that shift, that tension, that moment where something feels off, don't rush to fix it. Don't rush to explain it. Pause and ask, what did you hear when I said that? Because that question is the difference between talking at each other and actually being understood. And if you never ask it, you won't just miss the conversation that saves your relationship. You'll slowly build one that quietly destroys it. If you want to start small, don't wait for the next big argument. Try it in a low-stakes moment. After a normal conversation, ask, when I said that, what did you hear? You'll be surprised how often the answer is slightly different from what you meant. And every time you correct that difference, even by a small amount, you're training your relationship to feel safer. Not by changing who you are, but by finally checking the story your mind is telling about the person you're with. And if you both keep practicing this, something else happens over time. The words, can we talk, stop sounding like a threat. They start to feel like an invitation to understand, not to be judged. You still have hard conversations, you still disagree, you still get it wrong sometimes. But underneath all of that, there's a new baseline. We're on the same team, even when our brains are telling different stories. And that's what actually protects a relationship. Not never fighting, but knowing how to come back to each other when you do.